As we mentioned, Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order restricting social gatherings to 10 or less people, and as a result, the Corpus Christi Police Department announced that Zahn Road and Newport Pass Road on the island, the entrances to the beach there on the Gulf, will be closed. Yesterday, the governor signed some additional orders to try to increase space and facilities at hospitals around Texas. He ordered a cancellation of all elective surgeries, in other words, surgeries that are not necessary to correct a serious health condition. And he said the National Guard will be deployed to help hospitals and health officials if needed.
I have previously activated the National Guard. The National Guard this week is going to be deployed to help local hospitals and local healthcare authorities respond to these challenges. I will provide the National Guard for the needs that they express.
Governor Abbott also saying this week that they will be putting up additional medical structures such as makeshift clinics or hospitals in the event that they are needed. Now here's a full